and see if we can protect not only the human population, but the fish and the marine mammals, everything that could be impacted by this program. And I think it really needs to be examined by independent biologists, independent people who, in other words, don't have this pressure from the Navy just to fall into line.
And, you know, this fight is not for nothing. I mean, you've been able to stop things in your community before. You were able to stop the fluoridation of your water, and you were telling me a story while we were out there that your mother actually helped stop a nuclear power plant from coming into the area.
Yes, the powers that be, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, decided that they wanted to put a nuclear power plant on Point Arena. And my mother and the editor of the paper and my father, who did the research, all joined forces with a few other people, but mostly my mother, who went to all the meetings. And they were able to have enough facts and documentation to not put a nuclear power plant square on top of a earthquake fault line that runs right through the center of Point Arena, right? And they were going to put the power plant right over the top of the fault line. So
it's genius.
We were able to stop that, my mother was, and the other issue is that we stopped fluoridation. They were going to try to fluoridate the water in our water district, and my mom organized, and the people spoke up, and that project was also stopped dead in its tracks. So people can make a difference, and they can stand, and they can get results if they get together and say no to projects. And I think right now this is what I'm working toward with writing articles in newswithviews.com. Meredith Smith on the coast and myself have joined together, and we go door to door, business to business. I went this past weekend. I drove all the way from Ukiah, California, where I live, all the way up to the Oregon border, and I stopped in every town, every community, handing out flyers and talking to people in Humboldt County, California, about this project. And I only ran into two who knew even the slightest bit about this. No one else did, and they were shocked that this was going to be happening right off their shoreline. I talked to the fishermen who didn't know about this project. Nothing. I was just absolutely stunned that the powers that be and our elected officials had not told the fishermen that this was going to come their way, nor did they give them a list of the toxic chemicals that would be used, and didn't warn them to protect themselves when this program started. Not even that. They didn't even tell the Coast Guard in Fort Bragg, California, who's right in the Noyo Harbor. They didn't tell them about this project and how they were going to protect people who might be out fishing or who might get caught in this chemical maze that they're going to put us through. So it's just one of those things that it just takes hard work and letting people know, and the major newspapers and the major television stations won't cover it. You can watch the program on KTVU Channel 2, Oakland, San Francisco, that aired in March, and if you go there and just type in Navy, the program will come up and you can watch it as well. But they were the only one to go out on the line and say, we're going to tell this story. No one else in California, none of our elected officials, as far as U.S. senators, will talk to the press or even issue a statement on this. And the only one that's trying to do some for all of us is Congressman Mike Thompson. However, he won't ask for congressional hearings on this subject so far, and he is not speaking out on this issue either. And if he would hold a press conference, it would certainly bring this to the attention of the people of Northern California. But that he is elected not to hold a press conference and, in other words, make a statement about how disastrous this program could be for the people here.
And this really is the midnight hour, is it not? I mean, this program's set to start in September, right?
Yes, and people can file with the National Marine Fisheries Service. The deadline for public comment with them is August 12th. and so they can file a complaint and file their concerns with the National Marine Fisheries Service. That people can do that. And also, if you go to my website, CaliforniaSkywatch.com, you can get more information or contact me.
All right, folks, we're going to come back with Rosalind Peterson, finish up on this Navy drill issue. Once again, over the next 5 years, 11.7 marine mammals to be killed, and God knows the human impacts as well. Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv are the websites. We'll be back after this. I am Jason Bermas. We are back. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas. And in this short segment, we're just going to really recap this naval drill issue and how people can get involved. Now, does it start September 1st? Are we literally less than a month away from this program initiating?
Well, it's supposed to start. The permit is supposed to be issued, and the Navy program is a 5-year warfare testing program that's going to start apparently in September 2009 and go all the way until September 2014. This is the plan. The Navy Environmental Impact Statement public comment period ended, and so for their environmental impact statement, and so they're going to just whitewash all of the public comments, I'm sure, that were made on the statement, and then just plan to go ahead. So I don't see that there's going to be any changes in their program. I think they're just intending to go ahead. The National Marine Fisheries Service, on the other hand, is not going to issue a permit until they get the public comment period over, which is August 12th, 2009. So we have a little time to comment. But I want to recap. These naval exercises at issue here would take place off the Atlantic and Pacific coast, Hawaii, Alaska, and in the Gulf of Mexico. And I'm reading from a March 12th letter this year from Senator Henry Waxman to the Undersecretary for Oceans and Atmosphere. And it's going to affect literally every coastal state. In many regions, the Navy plans to increase the number of training exercises or expand the areas in which they may occur. Of particular concern are biologically sensitive marine habitats off our coast, such as the National Marine Sanctuaries and breeding habitat for the endangered North Atlantic right whale. And it says, in all, the Navy anticipates that its summer exercises will take or harm or kill marine mammals more than 2.3 million times per year, or 11.7 million times over the course of a 5-year permit. And that is essentially it, but the toxic chemicals they're going to use are going to blow in on the people, and they're going to be doing on-land exercises, classified military exercises, and other types of testing and bomb blasting besides sonar. So the whole range, they're going to just use the Pacific Ocean and the other oceans as warfare test zones. And they could just put them into dead zones really quickly with the amount of firepower they're going to turn on the oceans.
Now, when did you even become aware of this? Because you are a rather fast-acting woman, and I really feel like your back's against the wall right now. People only have 6 days to submit a comment about this before a permit is given. So when did you become aware of it, and how hard have you been working to get this word out?
I became aware of it on February 17, 2009, one day before the final public comment period was over the first time. And the 2 Oregon senators, U.S. senators, were able to obtain a 3-week stay so that there was more public comment. Congressman Thompson, at the very last minute before that one expired, was able to get another extension into April. So we've been fighting off deadlines, making public comments, and notifying the public practically door to door, because the major newspapers and the major television stations would not cover this issue at all. So it's been a tremendous effort by a lot of people in collecting petition signatures. Anyone can go to my website at CaliforniaSkywatch.com, click on the petition, print a copy and send it to us, because we need to collect 10,000 signatures before the end of August. so anything that anyone can do to help and to bring this to public attention, because it's not just California, Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. It's the Gulf of Mexico, and it's the Atlantic Ocean as well. So every coastal state, as Congressman Waxman has stated, will be impacted by the Navy warfare testing expansion.
So really what you're telling me is people out on the East Coast need to contact their congressman as well.
Yes, because otherwise the National Marine Fisheries Service is issuing permits for the harming and taking or killing of marine mammals in those areas as well. And so everyone has to become informed, because it's not just here in California, and it's not just in the Pacific or the Atlantic or the Gulf of Mexico or the Hawaiian Islands. It is everywhere.